forward. So thank you guys for making the live. Need to go to the barbershop. Making the live broadcast today. My name is Tamani Mwandani. I am a contributing member of the Black Gold Movement in an effort to build a Black Gold Nation. I am the revolutionary product, one of many revolutionary product of the Shrines of the Black Madonna under the direct tutelage of Cardinal and Bayou Chewy. Congratulations on your marriage, by the way, brother Cardinal. I appreciate it. But congratulations on that. The direct tutelage of Cardinal and Bayou Chewy and the indirect tutelage of Jeramogi Bebe Ajiman, also known as Reverend Albert B. Clegg, the father of liberation theology. I want to briefly discuss some things that are happening in the news, make some points about how it affects us, and then talk about what we need to do as a people moving forward. I've titled this thing LeBron James and Black Power, Jay-Z and Black Compromise, and Seeming, because we don't know yet. I'm not sure if he has something under his sleeves or not. We'll see. Seeming Individualism in our Black reality in 2019. Why we're losing, how we can start winning now, and your role in all of it. I was watching I am watching now is an active documentary, a documentary on the Vietnam War. A lot of the stuff that I am hearing, I knew, but I'm also learning things that I didn't know, which is cool. One of the things that kind of stuck with me is that if you guys know anything about Vietnam, they had been fighting for a very, 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 very long time. In the 1800s, late 1800s, they started with the fighting of the French, and that lasted well into 1950s. They've been fighting for a very long time for their liberation and salvation. And by the time America got involved, they had at one point been supported by America, and then that support eventually vanished as America wanted to not disrupt its alliance with France, and it started to support France. And it withdrew that support from Vietnam. But that's kind of what America does. America will back you for as long as it's in her best interest, and that she will not do so. But what's interesting to me about the Vietnamese position is that they paid attention to their reality. They paid attention to what was happening in and around their country, in and around their community. They paid attention to how the French were operating, America was operating, the Belgians were operating. They paid attention to everything. And Mao Zedong, who I did not know had extensively traveled with the U.S., held several jobs here in the U.S. The brother was on top of it. He was really plugged into what his people wanted, plugged into what they needed, and his perspective was the same as what we were taught in the Shrine. If it's good for the Vietnamese people, if an act is good for the Vietnamese people, then it is good. And if it's not good for the Vietnamese people, it is evil. And that's how we were taught in the Shrine. If it's good for Black people, it's good for America. If it's not good for Black people, it's bad for America. But what the Vietnamese did, which ultimately allowed them to win their war, because no one really wins in war because there's so much bloodshed and whatnot. But what allowed them to come to a stalemate with America, which is why Vietnamese is still split, is that they planned 10 years. Literally 10 years before America sent ground troops, Mao Zedong and the Vietnamese were planning for their arrival, not really being sure if they were going to arrive, but everything was pointing in that direction. So 10 years prior to Mao Zedong and his generals, his lieutenants, they planned for the arrival of American troops. And some of the footage that they showed as to how they hid themselves within the countryside, in the mountains, in the foliage, underground, absolutely phenomenal. They were prepared, and that preparation allowed them to, again, not necessarily win, but America didn't win either. Now, I do believe that if America had ever not titled it a police action and actually declared war on Vietnam, it would be a different story, because then they would have been dropping bombs left and right. But America didn't do that. America was trying to police the issue because of political reasons. In every battle that was fought, the Vietnamese won, at least half of them, North Vietnamese. And it was eye-opening, the fact that they were so connected and plugged in to the reality of what they were facing in the 1950s, 1960s, and leading up to America's involvement. And were it not for them planning thorough, intricate, detailed, intelligent, methodical, strategic planning for over 10 years, they would have lost. Now, the lesson in that is, of course, we have to be like the Vietnamese. We have to read the tea leaves. We got to read the handwriting on the wall. We got to read what's going on in America and around the world, and ask the question, which to me is the only question that really matters. This thing that's happening, or these things that aren't happening, or this movement that's underway, or these people that are doing this, that are doing that, is it good for black people, period? If it's good for black people, we need to support it. If it's bad for black people, we shouldn't support it. If it's good for black people, it's righteous and of God, or a higher power. If it's not good for black people, it's evil and of a negative energy being. I don't want to say Satan or the devil, because I don't want to give that kind of power to it, that kind of belief system. But good and evil exists. So that's how we need to move into this thing. Every single thing we do, we need to look at it in the eyes of, is it good for black people? Is it going to hurt my children? Is it going to hurt my children's children? And if it's going to hurt my children and or my children's children, then it's a bad thing. And if it's a bad thing, what are we going to do? So we have to be like the Vietnamese. We have to pay attention to what's going on. And as we see the reality and the facts, we have to act accordingly, not based on what we want to happen, or what we hope is going to happen, or what we wish is going to happen, or what we pray is going to happen, but what the facts tell us. And then based on what the facts are telling us, we need to act accordingly. Now, for the past few weeks, I've been giving a brief snapshot of what it means to be black in America in 2019 moving forward. And of course, I want to continue doing that today, because we have to be more intelligent. We have to be more methodical. We have to stop playing checkers and start playing chess, and understand that things are changing in America. America is becoming a different country. People talk about Donald Trump's racism, his prejudice, his misogyny, his hypocrisy, his lies, talk about all of that. But Donald Trump is only one person, like Hitler, one person, like Benito Mussolini, one person. What makes him dangerous is the millions that support and follow him. Donald Trump is one person, but what makes him dangerous are the millions of people that support him. That is something that we have to keep in mind, because if Donald Trump is a racist, and there are millions supporting him, then that means that we have to deal with and contend with millions of racists, some of whom are ready to do grave damage to people of color in this country. And it's not like they don't have a precedent of doing that. It's not like they haven't done it before. So we need to be mindful of what it means to be black in America. We need to act accordingly. So our reality in America in 2019 moving forward, the bottom 50% of our households are worth less than $1. We got more brothers in prison in this country than all women incarcerated worldwide. More brothers are in prison in this country than all women incarcerated worldwide. We got more, black farmers are still being discriminated against by the USDA. They still can't get the funding and the loans that they need like the white farmers do, and they still can't get their products to market, which is a problem. Automation, artificial intelligence, and machine language is replacing millions of jobs. The White House just removed 3 million people from the food stamp rolls. And of course, there are more white people on food stamps than black people, but that doesn't mean that a large portion of that number is not going to be black people. Food deserts, which is defined as an area that has limited access to affordable and nutritious food, exists in almost every predominantly black community in this country. Purge activity, which is assassinations, murders, organ and sex trafficking, crimes committed in black masks and black skin by white people, are happening nationwide in black communities. Purge activity is taking place nationwide in black communities. The Donald Trump administration has refused to label and pursue domestic terrorism by white identity extremists on the same level as they pursue foreign terrorists. Under the Donald Trump administration, the FBI's official counterterrorism priorities have included, quote, black identity extremists, anti-authority extremists, and animal rights environmental extremists. The Department of Homeland Security and a recent study has found that state and local law enforcement agencies nationwide have been infiltrated with neo-Nazi members and started secret terror cells developed to terrorize black and Latino residents. Reading the handwriting that's on the wall. We are up against 100 conservative think tanks that are focused on maintaining white supremacy and white power. We're up against a criminal justice system that's always been unjust. We're up against a bail bond system that's always been unfair and unjust. We have an education system that poorly educated everybody listening to this broadcast. The children that are being educated by that system now, and every black child to follow, we don't change it. A school to prison pipeline that is alive and well and highly functional in American society. We think the system is broken, but it is not. It's working the way it's supposed to work for those that developed it. We have a multi-billion-dollar prison industrial complex that you can buy stock in. So if you can buy stock in the penal system, what is the commodity? There are hundreds of small rural towns in America that would not exist were it not for the local prison, which is one of the reasons why you have prison officials writing letters and complaining to political figures that you promised me my bed count will be at 75, 80, 100%. How's a politician going to promise a prison official that their bed count will be at a certain number if it were about justice, which it is not? Redlining, gerrymandering, and gentrification, which is political power at its finest, working against us, not for us. That is why if anyone tells you that politics don't matter, if anybody tells you that voting doesn't matter, if anybody tells you that having a political system that works to your benefit doesn't matter, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You shouldn't listen to them when it comes to politics. We have over 900 white supremacist organizations in existence right now in 2019, and many of them have been training for a race war. I've been in the Army. I've met some of these people. They take their training very seriously. Some of them go into the military for the training, get out, join the local police force, and train their people. That's what we're up against. And keep in mind that this 900 plus organization count, the Donald Trump administration is not pursuing those persons, but they are pursuing Black identity extremists. It's very, very, very important for us to understand and realize there have been over 255 mass shootings in America since the beginning of the year, and there will be more. Over the past decade, the annual estimate of the number of gangs in the U.S. is approximately 27,000. Very, very, very important to understand why illegal immigration is an issue, because America has done things to bolster, work with, support gangs in other countries, and people are fleeing because their home countries are no longer safe. America has played a role in that. Flint, Michigan still doesn't have safe water to drink, bathe in and use, and it's been over 5 years. A large portion of Puerto Rico is still without power after 694 days. 694 days, Puerto Rico has been without power. A large portion of the country. 694 days. And they are American citizens. The Donald Trump administration citizenship and the Immigration Services Department is seeking to change the language on the Statue of Liberty. From give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, to language that translates to give me your tired and your poor, who can stand on their own 2 feet and will not become a public charge. America is changing, and those changes are not pro-Black. The Donald Trump administration under Jeff Sessions has reinstituted the privatizing of federal prisons, which means, of course, there's a profit motive. The Department of Justice has proven that cities like Baltimore and Chicago have engaged in, quote, a pattern and practice of conduct that violates the First, Fourth, and 14th Amendments. The First Amendment deals with freedom of religion, speech, and press, and the press, and the right to petition your government if you have an issue with them. The Fourth Amendment allows for protection from unlawful search and seizures, which means that they can't just come into your house, search you, seize your stuff, and walk away with it, which happens. And the 14th Amendment deals with our rights after we were freed after slavery. And lastly, the Donald Trump administration has repealed civil rights protections all across the country that deal with HUD, commerce, small business, farming, and other governmental departments. Now, that is just a brief snapshot of what it means to be Black in America. That is a brief snapshot of what it means for us as people of color in this country. And most importantly, that is what we need to be planning against. That's what we need to be planning for. That's what we need to be organizing for. We need to be like the Vietnamese before the U.S. era of the Vietnam War, because they saw what was coming, and for 10 years they planned for it. And as a result, they were able to reach a stalemate, whereby they still have their portion of the country, and someone else runs the southern portion. I'm not sure if it's the U.S. or not, but the idea is that they saw what was coming, planned for it, and was able to act accordingly. Now, that is our reality in 2019 moving forward. But just because we are facing an extremely uphill battle, just because we are born into a war that we didn't start, we're 200 plus years behind of preparing for it. We have to educate our people to the fact that we're in a war and we're surrounded on every front. Those facts exist. However, just because those are the facts right now today doesn't mean that those facts have to always be the facts, and it doesn't mean that it is it's checkmate. It doesn't mean that the game is over, because it is by far not checkmate, nor is the game over. One very, very, very good example of Black power LeBron James, whom I respect immensely as a black man, as a basketball player, of course, but also as a business person. If you have not heard, the NAACP created a rule. LeBron was calling it the Rich Paul rule because that's the brother that runs his sports agency. They came up with this rule that will make it more difficult for people like Rich Paul, brothers who are intelligent, have savvy business practices, who know how to move and shake in their industry. They came up with this rule that calls for certain things to take place, which will make it more difficult for black people to get involved and do their thing. LeBron, because LeBron is LeBron, was able to push back on that and got the NAACP to change that. That's historic. It is not uncommon that white people change the rules to make sure that black people can advance. That is what they do. It is not uncommon for America to change the rules or to create new laws that make it difficult for us to move forward. That is what they do. However, what is historic, and I'm not sure if this has ever happened before, America or an American institution ran by white people changes a rule to make it more difficult for black people to advance and move forward. And a black person says you're not going to do that, and they reverse the rule. I'm not sure that's ever happened before. That's black power. Say what you will about LeBron, what you will about his school, say what you will about him wanting to win multiple rings, switching teams, whatever. If it's good for black people, it is a righteous good thing that's of God. If it's good for black people, it is a righteous good thing that is of God. And we can even say perhaps that LeBron was doing this for selfish reasons because he wanted to make sure his company is doing well. I don't believe that, because that doesn't seem to be LeBron's character. And what he did was a perfect example of black power and how we could win. Most of the major sport, actually, well, I guess 2 out of 3, baseball, football, and basketball. Basketball and football is dominated by brothers. What if the brothers had the mindset of LeBron and they said that we're not going to play until Colin has a job? What if the brothers in the NFL had the same mindset as LeBron and said, we understand our power, we understand who we are, we understand that this thing won't work, this thing won't move, this thing will become rugby if we don't play in it, and we ain't playing until Colin gets a job. Different outcome, different reality, different power structure as it relates to what we could do moving forward. LeBron's actions against the NAACP, I'm sorry, the NCAA is an example of how powerful a black man can be if he has the right mindset, has the right economic backing, has the right connections, and is organized. That's an example of what we could do and what we could accomplish very easily if we were united in what we were trying to do in sports or any other arena. The things we could accomplish could begin to put our communities, our children, our women, our elders in a completely different arena, which will allow us to do things that we need to do to move ourselves forward. That is the LeBron portion of black power. Now we got to look at what Jay-Z just did, which I'm calling black compromise and seeming individualism. And I'm saying seeming because I don't know yet. Maybe he's working on things behind the scenes. I don't know. But if you don't know, the Jay-Z's Rock Nation and the NFL just came to an agreement where Jay-Z is going to be doing something with entertainment and the music. When I think when it just comes to the Super Bowl, I don't think it'll be year round. I think it's just a Super Bowl, but I could be mistaken. But the point is that most of us know that Colin Kaepernick, a very, 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 very capable quarterback, could still be playing in the NFL and should be, as a result of him taking a knee, protesting against police brutality and disrespect upon black people. He was whiteballed and has not played in the NFL for a number of years, despite the fact that the NFL has over 100 quarterbacks, and over half of them have not done what Colin has done as far as going to a Super Bowl, going to multiple playoffs, the kind of stats that he has. They just don't have it. But since they have the power, and Colin did not, as it relates to just being one black man, he ended up losing his job and the career that he worked for and still trying to get back into. Jay-Z's seeming agreement with the NFL seemed like it's a backstabbing move. It looks like Jay-Z was looking out for himself and his family. Looks like he was compromising what Colin was working for. And despite the fact that Jay-Z was saying publicly that he supports Colin, how are you going to get bed with those that whiteball the brother, still won't allow the brother to play? And you're saying that it's I think he said, I don't know the exact quote, but something like it's time out for kneeling. It's time to do something. I don't know how you make that deal without having Colin by your side. I don't know how you make that deal without constantly consulting with Colin along the way. I don't know how you not understand who you are as an artist, as a billionaire, as a trendsetter, and not bring all the other Black artists you could to the fore and say, we can do this business thing, but Colin has to come back into the league. And you don't do that because you're not thinking about the people. You're not thinking about the group. You're not thinking about the tribe. You're thinking about yourself, your family, and what you're trying to accomplish individually. Now, again, maybe something will come out of this. He has some cards up his sleeves, but it doesn't look that way. It looks like he's out for himself, and Colin is just out there flapping in the wind. That's an issue. We can't afford to behave that way. We can't afford to think that way. We can't afford to only focus on our individual success while our group gets wiped out. We can't afford to just focus on our bottom line while our group continues to be oppressed. We can't just focus on our personal income and well-being while our children, our men, our women, our elders are being killed in the streets. We can't afford to do these things when we have so many predators that exist in and around our communities. There is so much good that could have come out of such an agreement with the NFL if Jay-Z had the mindset to do so. And of course, he's obviously not an unintelligent brother. We know he's intelligent, that's obvious. But it doesn't seem like he used his position to move Black people forward. And I'm not saying that LeBron did, but I am saying that LeBron was able to make a historical move and stopped a white establishment from making a very racist move. And they reversed that move because he used his power to make sure that they did that. And Jay-Z could have done the same thing. Individualism will destroy us. Individualism has destroyed us. Individualism will continue to destroy us. The only way we're going to win in this country, the only way we're going to be able to establish Black communities that have influence, value, and power, the only way we're going to be able to protect our children with multiple layers of defense is if we think as a group. We got to think as one tribe, as one community, as one nation, as much as possible. We can't afford to think about me, myself, and I. Historically speaking, that is not how we've ever thought. It's always been group first, with the Black child at the middle. It's always been nation first, with the Black child at the middle. And some of the things that we've accomplished historically, people still can't figure out how we did them. And we're able to do them because of our belief system, our culture, and how we thought. We have to understand that, like the Vietnamese, who planned for America's arrival 10 years prior to, and use that preparation, that planning to eventually come to a stalemate. We got to do the same thing. I just read to you a brief snapshot of what it means to be Black in America. Anybody can research that stuff. It's all there. That's how I got it. That's what it means to be Black in America. All those things that I listed, and again, it's a snapshot. It's not everything. The list will get longer because I will continue to bring it to you. But we have some very, very, very serious things that we have to deal with. And if we don't deal with them, we're going to continue to lose. Now, that is the snapshot that I just gave you. I gave you an example of Black power via what LeBron has done. And I gave you an example of Black compromise, in my opinion, and seeming individualism. Again, I don't know what's going to come out of it, but everything looks like Jay-Z is saying Colin is on his own. I'm going to do my thing and I'm going to make my money. That's what it looks like. We don't know, but that's what it looks like. As a people, I hear at least once a month, someone says these Black celebrities need to do, these Black entertainers need to do. And that would be nice if a Black entertainer or celebrity of whomever was more involved in the movement to move us forward. And if that happens, then amen. But we can't wait on that. We can't wait on a LeBron James or an Oprah Winfrey or a Jay-Z or whomever. We have to take the power that we already have right now and move ourselves forward as a people. And we have a lot of power to do that if we focused on our strengths as it relates to our weaknesses or why we can't do something. We have to stop having conversations about why we can't do something. We have to stop having conversations about why black people won't do something. If you're a black person that's always talking about black people won't do, and you yourself aren't doing anything, you're talking about yourself. If you're a black person that's always talking about what black people aren't ready to do, and you're not doing anything, you're talking about yourself. We got to stop having those conversations. I do not believe that there's any question that can be asked that black people as a collective group cannot answer. I believe in black people because I know what black people have accomplished in my own personal experience, in my own personal life, but historically speaking, we've accomplished things that other people have not. Again, stuff that they still can't figure out, so they're blaming it on, they're giving ET the credit and extraterrestrial because people of color couldn't have built this thing. That's what our people have done. And we still have the ability to do that if we came together, asked the right questions, gave the answers that are going to move our people forward and act accordingly. Now, again, I've given you a brief snapshot of what it means to be black in America. And if you missed that, go back to the beginning of the live stream once it's over and listen to that brief snapshot. And I'll be shocked if each one of you can't add 4 or 5 things to that list. That is what it means to be black in America. Brief snapshot. Now I'm going to give you something that we can do economically, one thing. And there are several. This is just one thing that each and every one of us could do right now. Everybody listens to this live broadcast, and every black person that's going to listen to it after it's been published and it's no longer live. One example. Now, we know Jay-Z was approached by the NFL because of who Jay-Z is. Money, stature, caliber, artist, blah, blah, blah. We know that. We know that LeBron was able to push back against the NCAA because of who LeBron is. Money, stature, athlete, whatever. What if black people had that kind of economic clout to push back against everything that's destroying our communities? What if black people had the money that we needed to protect our communities? What if black people had the money that we needed to build our own manufacturing plants so we can train and employ ourselves? What if black people had the security mechanism by which we could push back against not only the gangs that are preying upon our people, but also the police? What if we had our own hospitals, our own schools, our own political machines? All of that supported by an economic system that we were in control of. One example of how we can get that. One getting one. If we have one black person that cares about black people, loves black people, wants to see black people win, if that one person on Monday finds another black person on that Monday, we got 2. If those 2 black persons go out on Tuesday and get 2 more, that's 4. If those 4 black persons go out on Wednesday and get 4 more, that's 8. If that 8 goes out on Thursday and gets 8 more, that's 16. If that 16 go out on Friday and get 16 more, that's 32. If we do that for 27 days, one getting one. 27 days, one getting one. At the end of the 27th day, if all of those persons gave $4 per month, an amount that we waste every other day, we'd have over $500 million per month. If you have not listened to my live broadcast from this past Saturday, please listen to it, because I give very realistic, very simple things we could do with $500 million in the first month. With $500 million, we can push back against a lot. With $500 million, we can put systems in place that will buffer us against the anti-blackness of America. With $500 million, we could be the Vietnamese that are planning for the arrival of America prior to the Vietnam War. With $500 million, we could do what LeBron has just done. With $500 million, we could put Cap in a position to we could have our own team. If we were smart, we start putting things in place with our children right now to break the back of the NFL in 10 years. If we were organized and connected, we would prepare our children right now, those that those that will be of NFL age in 10 years, start preparing them right now to let them know once it comes time for you to go to the NFL, if that's going to be your goal, and we know that's the goal for a lot of our kids to make it to the NFL, you're not going to the NFL. You're not going to the National Football League. You're going to the Black Gold Football League or whatever we decide to call it. And we prepare our children 10 years prior to make that move. We break the back of the NFL. We already know the NFL wouldn't be the NFL if it weren't for brothers. We don't understand our power. We don't understand what we could do if we were connected and organized. If one black person went out and got another black person, and we did that every single day, one getting one for 27 days, at the end of the 27th day, if everybody gave $4 a month, which is the monthly membership fee to be a part of the Black Gold Movement, to support us, we'd have over $500 million. That's $250 million less than we gave the movie Black Panther in the first month. As I've said before, black people are not economically deficient. Black people are not intellectually deficient. Black people are not physically deficient, and we're almost certainly not spiritually deficient. The only two things we lack to changing this thing in a very serious way is connectivity and organization. We're not connected, and we're not organized. But we have to change that if we're going to win. If we're going to be able to push back against every single thing that's happening to us, if we're going to push back against every single thing this government is doing to us, if we're going to push back against every single thing this government has done to us that have caused our communities to look the way they look, we've got to come together in some serious way and make that happen. One getting one, everybody can do. Now, today, one getting one. Me being me, when I started my one getting one list, I started out with 84 people. I went through my list, sadly, of 1,300 people on Facebook. Sadly, only saw 84 that I thought would do something if they weren't already supporting us. And I asked them, I need you to help me find one other person. And now I think 22 of them are helping me find one person per day. I'm one person. What if all of us tried to get 1, 2, 3 people a day? And we're not looking for black people to give a bunch of money. We're not looking for black people to give time. If we did one getting one, everybody gave $4, it's $500 million. If we took 10% of all those persons, one getting one, if we took 10% of that entire number, and everybody gave 5 minutes per day, we have over 1 million hours of stuff that we could do from 5 minutes a day from all those people. We don't understand our power. We don't understand what we could accomplish if all of us did a little bit. One of the things I like to say at the end of my live broadcast is, if everyone, no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. That's from one of my mentors, Bishop Ada Edwards, who is very known political community revolutionary sister here in the greater Houston, Texas area. And if you are her age, then she's known in California because she was a member of the Panthers. She said it after every radio show. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. We're not asking for people to do a lot. We're not asking for people to give a lot. But we are asking as many black people as we can find to give a little bit. If everybody gave a little bit, it's not going to disrupt your life. $4 is not going to break you. 5 minutes a day is not going to break you. And that's a drop in an ocean of what we could do. So if $4 per month of one getting one after 27 days is $500 million per month, what if we gave $5? It wouldn't be 600 million. It would be a lot more than that. Actually, the number is 532 million. That's the actual number. What if instead of giving 5 minutes a day, we gave 10? We now have 2-point-something million hours by which we could utilize that time and move black people to another level. We're not weak. It's not that we can't do. As a matter of fact, we have done. By my count, we've built our own communities that were outperforming other communities 74 times in this country. And 73 of them were destroyed by this government and or white people who were acting with support of the local police department, which is the American government. So it's not that we can't do. It's that they won't leave us alone long enough to do. And even when we do it, despite those odds, they target it for destruction and destroy it. And the only reason Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the one that's probably the most famous, the only reason it didn't last is not because they weren't fighting back. Because there were a lot of brothers who lived there who had just come back from World War I. They were fighting back. And they were winning. But then the white boys started dropping bombs from planes, firebombing them. And the brothers didn't have any anti-aircraft weapons or guns, so they lost. But next time around, we have to cover all those bases. Just because we lost that battle doesn't mean the war is over. Just because we've built stuff and they've destroyed it don't mean we stop building. Just because we've built our own stuff and they've either firebombed it, burned it down, built freeways through it, stole from the people or terrorized people, that doesn't mean that we stop. And we never, ever, ever stop, because our children are worth it. If we don't give them something in 2019, moving forward, if we don't start preparing and organizing ourselves to reestablish Black communities that have influence, value, and power, we are leaving our children with nothing. Now, of course, your child can go to college, get a good job, have a good living, but they'll be a part of a people that has no power, which means they can always be exploited and discriminated against. 255 mass shootings so far this year. And we're not even halfway. It's April 15th. We're not even halfway. Well, I guess we're almost halfway through the year. You don't think they're going to be more? What if 1, 2, 5, 15, 20 of these 900 plus white supremacist organizations decide to make a move against Black people? What are we going to do? We're going to die, because we're not ready for that. What if America declares martial law and they surround the community, don't let us leave? What are we going to do? We're going to die because we're not ready for ourselves. What are we going to do if Donald Trump makes some silly remark and people start to act like some of these mass shooters have done, and people start coming into the community because of something Donald Trump has said and start shooting people? What are we going to do? We're going to die. We got to change all of that. Nobody's going to do it for us. No one is coming to rescue Black people. Ain't nobody coming to save us. But that's okay, because we have the power to save ourselves. We have every single thing we need to move ourselves forward. We have every single thing we need to win, but we will never do that if we, as a collective unit, as a tribe, as a nation, as a village, as a people, to make that happen. Now, one of the things that we're doing to make that happen, because again, the Black Girl movement is not about just talk, we're about solutions. If we're not presenting a solution, we're not talking about it. We want to identify Black people that have solutions. We want to identify Black people that have answers. We want to identify Black people that care about Black people and want to bring something to the movement to help save Black people. So on October 5th of this year, which is Saturday, we hope to have a national rollout of very methodical, systematic, intelligent plans to push back against the threats and the predators that are destroying the Black community in 19 areas, in churches nationwide. We want to partner with as many churches as possible, because our people go to church, so that we can no plans to Black people nationwide in 19 different areas where we are losing. Those areas are agribusiness, business development, domestically and internationally, cultural affairs and diplomacy, domestic policy, sustainability, economics and finance, education, employment and training, foreign policy, health and nutrition, information technology, infrastructure and construction, intelligence, defense and national security, legal, media, marketing and PR, national security, politics, and spiritual health and well-being. Like the Vietnamese, we got to read the writing that's on the wall, and we have to prepare ourselves for what's coming. If it doesn't come, amen, we boogie. But if it does come and we're ready for it, we can survive it. Not every people of color have survived America. When America got here, when Europeans got to the shores of North America, there were over 500 Native American nations, 500 Indian tribes. You'd be hard pressed to find a good 1 or 2, right, 1 or 3. One of them might be healthy and moving in a positive fashion. We got to get serious about what's happening and act accordingly. So what we're going to do, October 5th, a national rollout of systematic, strategic, methodical plans in 19 different areas where the Black community is being attacked. Every Thursday, starting tonight, and every Saturday until September 28th, every Thursday and every Saturday from now to September 28th, we're dealing with a different subject, a different issue, a different area by which we're being deprived, attacked, and or losing. And we're going to give you our solution, or we're going to give you a solution from someone who we believe can help move Black people forward. Because in this movement, it's not about one person. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about a person that's in charge. It's about the best solution to move Black people forward. And remember, my revolutionary training says that if it's good for Black people, it's righteous and of God. If it's bad for Black people, it's evil has a better solution than our national leadership, then we're going to ride with that solution, because it's not about our leadership, but the solution. The purpose of this survival summit is to build a cabinet for all of our national departments, find more answers to save our people, and then build support nationwide that can move us forward. We are literally looking for one black person to find one black person, because I believe that we can get that Black Panther money, and we have to have that Black Panther money because our children need that Black Panther money. Listen to the snapshot of what it means to be black in America. Our households aren't worth a lot. Our brothers are being incarcerated. Our black farmers can't get to market. We're being replaced by automation, being cut from food stamp rolls. Food deserts exist in and around our communities. There's purge activity, assassinations, murders, kidnappings in our communities. The government is pushing back against us with making federal prisons private, by not pursuing white domestic terrorism, by rolling back everything that helped us move forward to this point, from Obama back, 100 conservative think tanks, a criminal justice system that's never been just, a bail bond system that's never been just, an education system that's never educated, a school to prison pipeline, a multi-billion-dollar industrial prison complex that is about making money, political power acting against us, 900 white supremacist organizations that exist right now. Flint, Michigan hasn't had safe water to drink in over 5 years. A large portion of Puerto Rico has been without power for 690-something days, 630-something days. That's what it means to be black in America. However, if we find one black person that cares about black people, and he or she goes out and gets another black person that cares about black people, and those two duplicate that process for 27 days, at the end of the 27th day, if all of those persons gave $4, we have over $500 million. The question we should be asking ourselves is, what will we do with $500 million? By having the Black Gold Nation, Black Church, and Black Organization Survival Summit, we will not only have answers to what we need to do with that kind of money, but we'll have people in position to manage that kind of money as it relates to what they do. I've given you the departments in the Black Gold movement. We have leadership in most of those areas, but not all. That's why we're looking for more leadership. We're looking for more solutions. If you have a solution in one of those areas, we want to hear from you. If you want to be a part of one of those cabinets, we want to hear from you. If you have a passion and a love for your people, we want to hear from you. If you want to see black children win, we want to hear from you. If you understand the threats that we're against and you want us to be bigger, better, and stronger, we want to hear from you. We have to build, but no movement moves without people, and this movement is no different. Everything we need, we already have. $500 million per month, we can have that in 27 days if we were serious. Because everybody that is listening to this live broadcast, everyone that will listen to this live broadcast, all of you guys can afford $4 per month. All of you guys have 5 minutes per day. I started this thing in November of 2016. I can't tell you how many people have come along and said, brother, I love what you're doing. I support you. I'm with it. You're right. Blah, 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 blah. Let me get this stuff in order first. 2.5, 3 years. Your ducks will never line up, because ducks don't line up. Ducks are everywhere. They're kind of staggered. We have to be able to chew bubble gum and walk at the same time. We got to chew bubble gum, walk, double dutch, and do a backflip at the same time, because we black. Being black in America is different than being anything else. Yeah, it's unfair, but it is what it is. Yeah, the odds are against us, but it is what it is. Yes, there are systems developed and designed to keep us in a second-class status, but it is what it is. It's always been that way since we've been here for 400 years. And despite everything that America has done to keep us back, here we are, still moving forward. We've come through the fire, not unscathed, not unbroken, not completely whole and able to do, but we came through it. And we're still here, which means what? The only thing that can stop us is us. The only thing that can stop us is us. So if we decide not to be stopped, guess what? We won't be stopped. So on October 5th of this year, we're going to launch via the Black Gold Nations, Black Church, and Black Organization Survival Summit, 19 concrete solutions in 19 different areas to move the black community forward. We're hoping and praying by that time we will have one getting one. And of that one getting one for 27 days, we'll have all of them giving $4 per month. And we will have a budget substantial enough that we can not only fund these individual departments, but we can start doing other things that we need to do well. We need to have our own security. We got to have our own agricultural system nationwide. And then we have to secure it. Because remember, every single thing we've done as a collective group to move ourselves forward has been targeted for destruction by this government and destroyed. We have to create more LeBron James situations. We're not going to let you. We have to create more opportunities like Jay-Z and take advantage of, not like he did, but in a better way, so that our people are taken care of. If we're able to put our people in a position to win, they'll see the value of being a part of something that's pro-black. And pro-black don't mean you're anti anything else. It just means you'll love yourself just as much as other people love themselves. So what if we were to put a Colin Kaepernick in a position to win, and he gave a portion of his income to the Black Gold movement? That's more money. What if we put a LeBron James in a position to win because he understands that he's a part of a group that has power, that loves him, that's connected and organized, and he gives a portion of his money to that movement? That's more money. What if we took a portion of that money and pursued the low-hanging economic fruit that exists in every black community in this country? The convenience stores, gas stations, mini marts, grocery stores, nail salons, hair salons, beauty supply businesses, washaterias, cleaners, if I didn't already say that, the mechanic shops, all of those businesses, the restaurants, all of those businesses that represents hundreds of millions of dollars. Other people coming from other countries straight to the black community to open those businesses or help their family run their business. What if we ran those businesses? What if we owned and controlled those businesses? We need that revenue. We need those profits. Because without that revenue, without those profits, without the right leadership, we're going to lose. We're going to keep losing. And I'm saying we don't have to lose. If the Vietnamese in 1954, as poor as they were, can read the tea leaves, can see the signs, can see what's happening and organize themselves to bring America to a stalemate. And not just America, they won against the French. So the French left because they couldn't beat them, because they were prepared and organized. What can we do here in America? America's not a perfect country. We know that. She had never been great. So the hell with you again. But it's a country that will allow us to do certain things, unlike other people can do certain things. If the 8 people that are still on this live broadcast, if we said, okay, we're gonna go start a shoe factory tomorrow, we could do that. Put some money in the account, get a DBA, and we in business. We might not make no money because we don't know what we're doing, but we could be in business. What if one got one, and after one getting one, after 27 days, everybody gave $4 per month, and we had $500 million? We could have our own industrial hemp farms. We can have our own aquaponics farms. We can have our own manufacturing plants. We can have our own military. We can have our own private security force. We can have our own political machinery. We can have our own manufacturing plants. We can most certainly save a number of HBCUs. We can have our own hospitals. We have everything we need. That's $500 million per month. And then when you start doing things to create economic centers that are creating profit, that's more money. And the only thing stopping us from doing that is us deciding to do that. If the 11 people that are still on this live broadcast say, look, Tamani, I agree with you, brother, we're going to do it. But now it's 8. So if that 8 says, look, Tamani, we agree with you, now we're going to do it. And that 8 decides to get another 8. Tomorrow we got 16 black people that are committed to saving the lives of black people. If that 6 go out the next day and get 16 more, that's 32 people committed to saving the lives of black people. That 32 goes out and gets 6. Can you imagine what 64 committed black people could do? Fidel Castro said, I started revolution with 84. If I could do it all again, I would do it with 18 and make sure they're all committed. He took over a country with 84 people. We don't need a lot of people. We don't want a lot of people. We need a committed core group. We need a support from as many black people that want to give it. We need that $4 in those 5 minutes from as many people that want to give it. Some of the things that we could do. One of the things that I really would really love to do. There are black people in this country who have been giving to the black community for a very long time. years, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. They should have from black people a 401k type retirement plan, whereby when they're ready to say, I'm done, I'm good, I'm going to chill, they should be taken care of for the rest of their lives. With $500 million per month, we could put 15, 20, 30 million aside, and then have people who are running our economics and finance department manage that money. So all of the Kofi Taharkas who live in Houston, all of the, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, Aswad Walkers who live in Houston, all of the well, this brother is no longer working full-time for the church, but all of those black people that you guys know of that have been working in the black community for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, with $500 million, we can set them up and they'd be done. With $500 million, we could aggressively pursue every black child who's in an orphanage or this country's CPS, Child Protective Services, foster care. Put them on an island that we own and control and completely change their lives forever. We could save our people from America. With that kind of money, we can not only take over the economics of our communities, but we can put every young black person that joins a gang for love, camaraderie, family, to make money. We can put them in a completely different position where they never have to break the law to make money, which jeopardizes their freedom, because we own and control every business in the black community. If we're organized and connected with a very, very, very strong marketing plan, we can redirect the foot traffic of every business that we give our money to in every black community to a business just like that we own and control. So if convenience store A in there for years, ain't never done nothing for black people, but just takes the money out, we can open convenience store B next door, across the street, down the corner, and we market to our people. Don't shop here because they're predatory. Take your behind around the corner and give to this, because you not only get that back, but you see all these programs that we're doing. We can do that right now. There's nothing stopping us from doing that right now. If we simply decide to make it so, we got to stop playing checkers and start playing chess. October 5th of this year, Saturday, October 5th, the Black Gold Nation, Black Church, and Black Organizations of Bible Summit. We're going to roll out plans in 19 different areas. Every Thursday and every Saturday, starting tonight, we're going to deal with a different subject as it relates to how our people are being destroyed, and we're going to give you concrete solutions either from our leadership or leadership that have come to us, so that you will know exactly what we need to do. Now, you can decide if you're going to be a part of it or not. That's on you. But you will know from that point moving forward, there is an answer for your people. And you can decide if you're going to be a part of it or not. That's cool. You can decide if you're going to support it or not. That's cool. But there will be a solution given. And the idea is that if we give the solution, the black people will support it. I believe that we can get that Black Panther money from black people by simply asking them for that, and then giving them a reason and showing them how that money is going to be used and what we're going to do with it. With 19 departments that are funded, the results of what that money can do will be seen nationwide. There's nothing stopping us from doing that but us. We simply have to decide to make it so. With $500+ million, we can have our own CNN level news organization. We can start to capture the news and report the news as it affects us, and we can push back against the destruction of our own image. There's so much that we can do if we get enough black people to do a little bit in large enough numbers. We're calling this the Black Gold Nation's Black Church and Black Organizations of Bible Summit, because our people go to church. I am not of the mindset that just because a person is religious, just because they have certain beliefs, that they don't care, that they're ignorant, that they're disconnected, that they don't want to see us win. That's absolutely ridiculous. My revolutionary training comes out of a black church, and I challenge anybody to question my commitment to black people or my knowledge and understanding of what needs to happen. Obviously, I'm here. So our people go to church. We need those people in this movement. We need that professional expertise, those teachers, those lawyers, those engineers, those scientists that go to church. We need those people in this movement, because this movement is about building power. We don't care about your religious beliefs. We don't care about your political beliefs. We don't care who you love, how you love, how many kids you got, where you go to school, if you went to school, if you got to be. We don't care about nothing. We care about three things. You identify You identify as a black person with black people. You don't like black, melanated, carbonated, Native American, whatever you want to call it. I'm talking about the black people that live here in America, that got here via slave ships or were prisoners of war and were already here. That's what I'm talking about, if you didn't know. You identify as a black person with black people. You understand that we have a special set of circumstances because we are being oppressed, and you want to push back against that oppression. So if you can agree that we're black, we're oppressed, and you want to help us end this oppression, that's enough. Anything we might disagree on, we'll talk about. We'll discuss, we'll debate, we'll argue, we'll do whatever, but we will keep moving, because I refuse to allow this movement to die because we have a disagreement. I refuse to allow this movement to die because somebody can't give $4. Everybody can give time. I refuse to allow this movement to die because I have my own personal issues like everybody else that I have to work through. That's another reason why it's so important that we are connected and organized, because life happens to all of us. But the movement can't afford to stop because life has happened to you, because life happens to every people. And we have people who will make excuses. I've purged a number of them, but there are people that I still haven't got a chance to purge that have been giving me excuses for 2.5, 3 years. They ain't going to ever do anything. That's not who we're looking for. We're looking for those persons that want to do something. And I know those persons exist. And the more we show them what we can do, the more we show them what kind of power we have, the more we show them how organized we can be, the more inclined they will be to become a part of what we're trying to do. Today, I started the Black Gold International Facebook group because we are growing outside the U.S. My co-boss, Arma Beal, I think that's how you said it, brother's last name, Brother Arma in Ghana. He is my number 2 who's running the international department, because we are growing outside the U.S. I had a brother ask me 2 days ago, when are we going to start a chapter in the UK? I had a brother ask me this morning, he's in India, do you have the Black Gold here? The melanated population of the planet, outnumbers the non-melanated population 7 to 1. We could put ourselves inside of a year in a position to say, to hell with Chinese labor. We're going to use African labor, and we'll be just fine. We have the opportunity to create that kind of power if we decide to create that kind of power. And I'm saying that we can do that. So that is why we say Black church, and we say Black organization for the same reason. Black people are members of organizations. And we're not anti-you because of your organization affiliation. We don't care. I'm Black, I'm oppressed, I want to end this oppression. If you can still critically think and analyze, if you're unafraid, I won't allow your fear to stop you, and you want to do something, that this is where you need to be. Because there's a lot to be done. There are other nation builders out there who are trying to do their thing, but I have yet to see anyone do it like we're doing it, which means it's more complete. That's not religious. We don't do religion. We do spirituality, not religion. We can win if we want to win. We can produce if we want to produce. We can excel and succeed if we want to excel and succeed, because we do it every day. The only difference is that I'm talking about doing it for us, not for other people. We excel, we achieve, we do, we perform, we create for other people. We got to do that for ourselves, because our children need us to. Our children absolutely must function from a position of power. They must function from a position of being safe. They must function from a power base that will allow them to be independently pro-Black without being worried about pushback from other people who are anti them. The Vietnamese saw what was coming 10 years prior to it coming, and were preparing literally underground and in mountains, and it worked. We don't have to go underground to some mountains, but we got to start preparing. Because as I read to you in the brief snippet, the snapshot moving forward, America is changing language on the Statue of Liberty, changing laws, ignoring very real threats, going after people who aren't threats. This is America. We got to get hip to what's happening and act accordingly. So with that, if you guys want more information about the Black Gold Movement, please go to our website, blackgoldnation.com. Click on About, read the message. You read our message and mission. If it makes sense, go to our events website, Black Gold Wakanda Rising. Click on presentation if you haven't seen our presentation to learn more about the movement. Click on Survival Summit to be a member of the Survival Summit. Every community meeting webinar that we're doing, the first one is tonight, which deals with agriculture, the agribusiness. It costs $4 per event because we're trying to get people to get in the mindset of becoming a $4 a month supporting member, because again, we need those $4 per month. Like the movie Black Panther, if enough Black people give a small amount of money in large enough numbers, we can create for ourselves an economic tidal wave that will allow us to put things in place that are going to protect our children, build the institutions that we need, implement systems that we bring forward and we create so we can put ourselves in a position to win. And if we don't do that, we're going to continue to lose, period, bottom line. And we have the ability to do all of that. If you want to support the Black Gold movement by becoming a $4 monthly member, go to our events website, blackgold-wakandarising.com, click on support, scroll down, click that subscribe button. We're doing a lot of things, and we need more people to help us do all of these things. Every person in this country, I know it'll never be, but I'm just saying, every Black person in this country can look for another Black person. We can do that, one getting one. After 27 days, if we did that, one getting one, everybody gave $4, we have over $500 million every single month. We have a lot that's against us. We have a lot that we got to do. We have a very, very, very deep hole we got to dig ourselves out of that we didn't put ourselves in, but it is what it is. So if you want to win, if you want to be a part of the Survival Summit to help move our people forward, if you want to be a part of building power for Black people so we can change the power dynamic in our communities nationwide, become a part of the Black Gold movement. Do more than just share the live broadcast, which is cool, but we need more than that. Do more than share the post, which is cool, but we need more than that. Do more than just talk about change. Be a part of the change. Do more than just try and make videos go viral, which ain't gonna change nothing. It's not gonna change anything. Do, act, get involved, because we have to build. We have about 7 to 9 years to build multiple Black communities that are not only independent from the dominant American culture, but that are connected with the same vision, the same program, the same leadership. We have to buffer ourselves from what's coming. And there is a tidal wave of anti-Blackness, anti-brownness, social equality that's coming. I forgot to read one thing on the snapshot. Evangelicals, which is some 24.5% of the country, support Donald Trump. Millions of people support a man who is obviously racist, misogynistic, a bigot, a liar. Millions, and they call themselves Christians. Hitler was one person. What made his efforts possible was the millions that support him. Don't think that if Trump says something about killing, hurting, maiming people of color, that there aren't people out there that would do it. It's on us to push back against that if it happens. And it's happened before, more than once. So let me make sure, I'm not sure I got time to go through the whole list. I saw some things. Thank you, Sister Claire, for being a part. I appreciate it. Our brother Ian, thank you. Sister CL, thank you for being there. Brother Ian, thank you as well. Sister Akshita, thank you. Brother Lonnie, thank you for being here. Brother Ivory, I'm going to send you Brother Robert's information, the agricultural guy that runs our agriculture department. I should have said it a few days ago. I apologize, but I've been busy. But tonight is his presentation at 6:30. So if you want to be a part and have a conversation with him, he's doing his presentation tonight. Sister Cena, thank you for being there. Sister Dr. Tawana, thank you. Brother Baruti, thank you. Brother Boyd, Sister Tueri, thank you. Sister Crystal, thank you for being there. Peace to you as well, Sister. Sister Akshita says, yes, I agree. We need to act according to the facts. Amen. Please share this video. Thank you, Sister, for asking people to share. Brother Kazi, thank you. That part, the supporters are in numbers, and this is exactly what we need to be to each other. Supporters of this rising nation, the Black Gold Nation, where you at? Amen. Brother Eric, thank you. Brother Eddie, thank you for being there. Brother Jaber, thank you for being there, and you should have your shirts really soon. Sister Akshita, thank you. Jaku, thank you for being there. Sister Crystal says, Black people are sadly mistaken if any of us believe that we are safe due to assimilation. Your melanin and their evil mindset automatically makes any of us, amen, any and all of us a target. Thank you, Sister Crystal, for making that very eloquent but very profound point. We must focus on survival. Great use of power by LeBron James. Redlining, thank you. Brother Billy, Cosette, thank you for tagging that sister. One getting one. Brother Gashaka, if you're still there, thank you. Brother Richard says facts. Brother Richard Singa, thank you. Brother Trent, thank you for being there. Sister Crystal says economics equals power. Amen. Funi Karima, thank you. Sister Akshita says excellent examples, right? Mound bigger we are. Mound bigger. I don't know what you mean, sister. It's a typo. Brother Anthony, thank you for being a part. Sister Cherie, thank you. Brother Anthony, thank you. Thank you for tagging Tony Morgan. There we go. One getting one. Sister Adrena. So anyway, thank you for being there. Sister Cherie says, I think about this every day. No one rescue us. Ever. EHVER8. I don't know what that means. Hebrews are the so-called African Americans. Peter Brown and we as the Ledge group have a plan as well. We need to come together. Yeah, I have had a chance to meet and have a brief conversation with Brother Peter Brown and the Ledge group. He's another, obviously, an example of a nation builder that's out there that's doing things. And this is why it's so important that we connect, because we do have Black people that are doing things on some very, very, very absolutely fantastic and wonderful levels. And we need to make sure that we are connected, which will help us be better organized so that we can support one another moving forward. So thank you for that reminder, Sister Sharia. I appreciate it. Crystal tag $5 Indians. Brother Kwame, thank you for being a part. Brother Joseph says, send me some contact info. Reverend J. Johnson, I will do that. Jay Smith, thank you for watching it. Brother Cornelius, thank you for being here. Sister Crystal is tagging educators. Elder Kane, thank you for being there. Sister Brittany, thank you for watching. Sister Crystal says great. Okay, so thank you guys very much for being a part. The Black Go Nation, Black Church, and Black Organization Survival Summit starts tonight. Our first, subject is agribusiness and what we can do to implement our own systems of agriculture moving forward. Again, if you want more information, blackgonation.com, click on About, read the mission. And if you have not seen our presentation, you need to see the presentation to understand exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and most importantly, how you can be a part of it. blackgo-wakandarising.com, click on presentations, RSVP. You want more information about the Survival Summit, click on Survival Summit. You want to support us, click on support, scroll down to that subscribe button, click subscribe. The community meeting webinars, it's $4 per, because again, not only do we need to raise that money, but we're trying to get our people into the mindset of becoming financial supporting members of this movement, because like any movement, we need people and money to make it happen, but we're not asking people to break the bank. We're asking for everybody to give a little bit so we can move and do something for our people, our elders, our women, and of course our children. If we don't do something to put our children in the position to win, then America has proven that she doesn't care about them winning. So if she doesn't care about them winning, guess who is on? The Black community. Individually, your family or a community of families can do nothing against the systems that are anti-Black. We have to come together and utilize the only strength that we have, which is our unity. And there is nothing that our unity can't push back against and or save us from. But we have to be unified as much as possible, connected and organized. So thank you guys for being a part. I sincerely appreciate it. God bless. Have a good day. Bye-bye.